I am in that one now.
And waiting for the other two. There we go. There's Tanner.
Anyway, it's a Hustler Fast Track 60-inch cut.
There we go.
Yeah, we're all back.
And what's wrong with it?
The engine's blown out. Well, I'm putting a new engine in it, so nothing will be wrong with it.
Oh, okay.
But it's a tank. It's a tank of a mower. I don't know what we'll sell it for. Maybe between $2,000 and $3,000.
It's a
upgrade
zero turn.
to upgrade to the new one. Oh yeah.
Oh, I wish I had a zero turn.
Here's the thing that pisses me off about it is they were using some kind of Kawasaki engine on it. It's a FS 730. And now they don't make that engine anymore, or they do, but now they like changed everything on the whole engine, and it makes me feel like, okay, something was wrong with that engine, and that's why it's all revamped now.
Yeah,
because
she's got a Cub Cadet zero turn.
Yeah,
and she's moving to an apartment, so she's not going to need it.
well, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, she's probably going to leave it with you guys or sell it to you guys. But if she doesn't and you need something, then I don't know.
Yeah,
hit me up or whatever. But
yeah, because I mean,
you'd have to have a way to get it there because I don't have a freaking trailer to put it onto. And
well, I can get a hold of a trailer. I just have to drive over to St. Louis first.
Yeah, that's the only down part about it. But
I could go get my father-in-law's
I don't
trailer.
know.
But it's in St. Louis.
But it's built like a tank. I mean, like, the underside of the deck is going to have some rust and, obviously all the water and everything like that on it. But man, I'm looking online, like Marketplace and stuff like that, and mowers that are the same age. I think we got it in 2014, 2015, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like rusted to hell. I mean, like I don't know what people do with them. They beat the shit out of them or something. But
people that don't rinse them off after they're done.
Right.
So then,
yeah.
So then you have, wet grass that is stuck to it.
Right. Yeah.
And left to sit against the surface.
No, we break out either the hose or the. In most cases, I mean, if we're cutting, it's usually dry. Other than in the early spring, where it tends to be wet a lot more, we'll hose it off. But usually, I'll just air hose it and blow everything off of there. But then I also jack it up each winter and completely drain I run all the fuel out of it and all that sort of junk. I mean, of course that doesn't matter because the engine's going to be different anyway, but
yeah.
Right.
But yeah, in terms of the frame and it's ridiculous. You could run that thing into a brick wall and it will damage the wall before it damages the mower. I mean, they're freaking tanks.
Cool.
Love them. I just hate the freaking engine. But when I look at, so they had the 48 and the 54-inch cuts, and they use this mower, the engine that I'm going to replace it with, and all those are going strong, and everybody's all raving about them and everything else. It's just for whatever reason, the 60-inch cut, whatever engine that they decided to replace it with, sucks, man.
Yeah, if I turn out to need one, I'll get in touch with you. Maybe a little bit because I'm depleting.
Oh, we're not in a hurry because what'll happen is we'll use it the rest of the year and make sure that everything's running and all that stuff good on it anyways, regardless. And then next year I'll set up. Probably what'll happen is late this fall I'll see if I can make a deal with the guys that are running the lawnmower equipment company that I go to, so I can get it maybe a little bit cheaper or something and buy the higher version of it at that point. And then if you don't buy it, somebody else will. I mean, I'll just sell it on Facebook Marketplace or something like that next year. So
because I'm going to have about 2.5 of the 3 acres is stuff I'm going to have to mow. So
yeah.
And right now
I'm a good
self-propelled push mower.
I think
if you're close enough, I might be interested if he doesn't get it.
Where you at, Zolan?
Prague, Oklahoma.
Wait.
You got to forgive me when you say Prague. We're in a
It's spelled Prague, but they actually pronounce it Prague here.
Okay.
Oh, Prague. Gotcha. Okay.
But
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got some
we're
friends near Oklahoma.
I'm
so-
I'm just outside of Indianapolis. I think I'm like 4 hours north of you, Ricky. When we went down to Florida, I think it was about 4 hours before we hit.
Yeah.
yeah.
Nashville.
So we do the north runs quite often.
Yeah.
So
Like I said, it'll be four and a half from the new place because I'll be in Cedar Hill, Tennessee.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. So that means you have a longer commute home.
No,
No,
Commute?
shorter commute.
yeah, I'm knocking.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I
knocking.
think it's. You said it was your wife who's going to have the longer commute now, correct?
No,
Yeah,
no,
he
we're
said,
both-
I thought he
we
said
both
he's knocking
work in
about
downtown
20 minutes
Nashville.
off his commute, right?
We're knocking
Oh, okay.
21.
I thought you-
We're knocking 21 minutes
Oh,
off.
it's
Yeah.
Joe
Okay.
that
I thought
extended the
you
commute for
said
the
you were
wife.
adding 21. My mistake.
No, we're knocking 21 minutes off each way.
Yeah, and about 21 miles off each way, which is a
Yeah,
bit more on
so-
the maintenance of the vehicle too. So
Yeah, so it'll take us 21 less minutes to get to work and to get home.
Well, that's going to be nice then.
Yeah,
This
Are
is
we-
actually
are
why
we
I got the
streaming?
DMR because we are.
oh poop.
It took me. I have a 71-mile one-way commute.
yeah, I'm 50,
Holy cow, that's a lot.
from here. I'm
Ugh.
53 miles. So yeah. So I'm taking 21 miles off that. So it'll be 32 miles. It'll be much nicer driving 32 miles.
Yeah, 30 is not bad. That's most
Fewer-
of what my
fewer oil
commutes have always
changes.
been.
Fewer sets of tires.
Yeah, I'm going through about a full set of tires a year.
Holy cow, I could not imagine that.
Holy crap.
So we bought my car in 2013 with 1 mile on it, and it now has 265,000.
Nice.
Yeah.
What kind of car?
And that's Charger,
Gotcha.
and that is one of 3 vehicles that I was driving.
Yeah. Yeah, our 2018 CRV that we bought it was August of 2018. So we'll have had it for 2 years next month. But we got 78,000 miles on it.
Yeah. We put about 25 a year on my wife's car. And on my car,
yeah.
I put like 5.
I need to
And
put
that's,
the
and
disclaimer
that's
out
just
there.
one of our vehicles. The other one's our Honda Pilot that we bought with 100 and I think it had 110,000 on it when we bought it, and it's got 240 now.
Yeah, my Charger's the 6-cylinder, not the nice 8s.
It's better on gas mileage, I would assume.
32 to 34.
Wow, that's not bad at all for a 6-cylinder.
Hey, Dan. And no, if I'm stuck not working at home anyways, I might as well stream, right? Oh.
Yeah, looks like I'm stuck not working until at least July 31st now.
Yeah. That sucks, man.
But that's not working from home. That's just not working.
I know. Are you classified self-employed?
Yep.
So that screws you even more.
Did you get any of that stimulus for?
There is the CARES Act thing, so I get unemployment, but
Oh, wow.
Through federal, I mean?
yeah.
Okay.
But because I'm self-employed, it's not great unemployment. It's
No.
Right.
No.
it'll buy groceries.
Oh,
It was gone like instantly, and they had to turn around and add more to it.
Yeah.
yeah. Now they're talking about that. Like in Canada here, we have that stimulus check that comes out every 2 weeks for Canadians that are out of work because of the COVID-19. And now they're talking about pushing it until the end of December for us out here. So
Yeah.
Now the federal stimulus on unemployment ends July 31st
Yep.
here.
Ooh, ouch.
There's rumor they're going to try to extend it, but there's also rumor that that'll get held up in Congress.
Yeah.
Wow.
So here in just a couple of weeks, that goes away.
Yeah.
Well, the borders just got locked down again in the States, and Canada got extended. I know that much. I don't know how it is for you guys out there, if all borders are closed off or not.
The bar that announced today that they're closing because they haven't been able to endure. They already said 2 more weeks of this and we'll be completely bankrupt.
Yeah, but that's
Right.
not your bar that you
We're
work
pulling
at,
the plug.
correct?
What's that?
This is not one of the bars you use that you work at.
Well, not yet.
correct?
Not
Currently, no.
yet.
I used to have a weekly
mean-
gig there.
Oh, okay.
Last year I had a weekly gig there, and it wasn't a great gig. It was one of those things where they started rotating other people in,
Oh.
and they gave me every other week instead of every week. And at the point when they cut that out, I realized how much more of a headache that gig was than it paid. So I just said, go ahead and just give it to the other guys.
Yeah, and here's the problem. Let's say you had 100 bars that were open before COVID hit, and after it's all said and done, you only have 50 bars that are open, but you have a shit ton of friggin' people that were performing at those bars. Now the competition's a hell of a lot higher and harder to get into, right?
Not as much as you think, because I
Okay.
can name, if I had to right now, I could name 10 guys that since the first shutdown happened and through this second shutdown have packed up and left. And
Oh,
that's
just
only
gave
the
up,
people
yeah.
that's only the people that announced that they left.
Right.
Right.
My
dad
drummer
and-
left and he made no announcement. He just called me and told me
Right.
he was done.
Oh, God.
He didn't make any social media announcements or anything like that. In fact, the rest of my band didn't know he had left until after the shutdown ended and we came back to work and they went, "Where's Rocco?" And I said, "He moved back to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
You're like-
my dad's
He's
band.
gone."
Hey, anybody know how to
they-
play drums?
My dad's band picked up everything and basically moved states, leaving him behind because he can't move with his kidneys shut down.
Yeah.
So now he's, if you need a bassist in Seattle,
My lead guitar player is from Seattle.
I used to
My
play
dad might
drums
know.
in high school. Used to be good at it, but
I played flutaflone once or twice.
Yeah, my lead guitar player's name's Alex Gallagher. He's from Seattle.
I would say the name's familiar, but that's only because I know some guy who smashes watermelons.
Right. Well, and it's a relatively generic name. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
there's probably a million Alex Gallaghers out there.
I got screwed a bit with the race seasons, being shut down and stuff like that. But surprisingly, the commercial stuff really picked up, which I was more than happy about, because when the first time I was self-employed, it was all race stuff, and it
Right.
was I don't know, it was just really difficult to deal with. Everything's rush, hurry up, go, quick turnaround for the first half of the year, and then the second half of the year I didn't have any work. It was really difficult. Whereas the commercial stuff is year round. So I'm blessed, I guess, and happy that I've managed to keep busy during all of this.
I am
Yeah.
so glad I gave up on being self-employed before this started.
I'm blessed that my wife has a good job and is considered
Oh,
essential.
Yeah, and my wife as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just
she does
lucky
very
that
well.
I got a roof over my head because I'm unemployed right now. But I
Yeah.
live at home
She-
because
my wife
of
works for,
other reasons.
Tennessee Oncology, and without her, people that are getting cancer treatments wouldn't get their
Yeah.
stuff paid for. So
No, she can work from home, and but it's at first I was scared because I was like, oh man, I don't want to go through this again. And
Yeah.
I mean, I knew what to expect. I just knew it was going to be
my
rough,
wife
but-
can work from home, but there's only like 6 people on the floor of her office building, and she's like, I get so much more done at work.
Yeah, that's how she
She's
is.
like, you distract me and annoy me.
Well, that's more like me, because man, holy cow, when she was home all the time and my son was home all the time, I was like, I'm so used to being home in the quiet, being able to get my work done. Now I've got to listen to her doing a meeting and my son doing a class and all the Zoom crap going on between all three of us, and all of our computers are in the same room. Oh man, it was driving me nuts. But in the end, I mean, it's a small price to pay in order to make sure you can pay the bills and all that stuff. So we really lucked out during all
And
of
that
this.
everybody's safe.
Yeah,
Right.
So, Ryan Mac
Is
in the
that-
background, is that a plotter I'm seeing in the background?
it is. Yeah, I rearranged the office a while ago. My son ended up moving his computer into his room, which gave me more room so I could take the plotter out of the dining room which is where it was residing.
Oh, I'm sure your wife is so
Is it
glad.
working?
She's very happy. I still have a computer in there. I need to yank out of there and make some room, put that in here and clear it out and all kinds of stuff. She's making comments over there as she's
Yeah, we
working.
can hear her.
I'm sure every day she walked into the dining room and looked at that plotter,
Yeah.
she's like,
Yeah. Helps to pay the bills, but no, I was pleasantly surprised. The first year, I expected a certain amount
okay,
of sales, and I got that sales. And then this year, I'm way better off than I thought I was going to be at, and that's even with COVID. So, yeah, I'm thrilled about that entirely. That means probably next year I'm going to be right back to where I was when I left off self-employment before.
So
I'm trying not to freak out myself because my work's going to force me to go back to the office on August 3rd. And if my wife catches this, she's dead.
Yeah, that's going to be rough.
Same here. If I catch it, or my mom catches it, or even my sister catches it, we're all dead.
Yeah.
Because we all have I have diabetes. My mom's at the age where it's harder for her to fight it, and my sister is immune compromised.
I'm immune compromised because of some of the meds I have to take, and my wife is immune compromised, COPD, MS, diabetes.
Holy shoot!
Practically everything except the organ transplant.
yeah, my wife's a severe asthmatic, so the fact that it's a respiratory ailment.
Mm-hmm. So the idea of being forced to go back to the office where my manager flat out said 80% are not wearing masks even though they were told to.
Oh yeah, what?
Oklahoma.
In Canada right now, just for Toronto, Mississauga, Hamilton, Cambridge, my neck of the woods, mandatory masks have to be worn when you're inside any public building.
Nice.
Have to be worn. And if you cannot social distance, mask is mandatory to be worn.
Right. Well, you can mandate it all you want here in the States, but it's difficult to enforce it.
Oh, over here, they're enforcing it. And if they catch you without a mask, it's a $5,000 fine.
Wow.
Yeah, but are they actually enforcing it? That's the thing.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, but that's 5,000 Canadian dollars.
That's a
$250,000 American.
It's like $350.
Yeah, I got that in my
really.
couch cushion.
I wish they'd enforce it here.
But here they are.
We're just messing with you.
I've seen the police giving tickets to people who are not following the rules.
That's a tough gig, though. I mean, yeah. If you're a cop and you're living in a neighborhood, you're gonna bust all your freaking neighbors for not wearing a mask. I mean,
yep.
And be that guy. I mean,
you're also
$5,000 fine.
Here in the U.S., we have already had people at stores be shot for trying to say people need to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Costco, the guy in Costco took the guy's stuff away. I thought that was great. But I've been hearing about security guards being shot just for asking a person to put on a mask.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just like,
it's happened.
Why are you so
How
against
are they getting
mask?
shot in Canada?
They're in the States, not in Canada.
Oh, I was going to say.
No.
Okay.
That actually happened here in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah, I heard about one in California too, which was really shocking shit on me.
We're still shooting people over other stuff that's not COVID related here. I don't want to get political.
No, yeah. COVID is only political in the aspect of if you look at the specific people refusing to wear masks.
Right.
But otherwise it isn't. This is something we're dealing with. Whereas what you're talking about, that's...
Yeah, COVID doesn't care what your political affiliation is. It doesn't care what your race is. It doesn't care what your religion is, your sexual orientation. It doesn't care about any of that.
Nope.
It will kill any one of you, or completely. It will infect you, but leave you completely asymptomatic. Just depends on if you're lucky or not.
Yeah.
And then maybe you won't have any issues until 20 years later.
Hey, John.
Right.
John Mack.
And then you could stroke out 6 months after you've gotten a clean bill of health.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't quit smoking.
Oh yeah, hey, moment of reflection on. Actually, we already did it on Warcocki's stream, I think. Grant Imahara.
Oh, Grant. Yeah.
Yes,
Sad day.
that was a
Oh,
brain
bring
injury.
Wait, I missed this.
Grant
Yeah,
Imahara died of an
Imahara
aneurysm.
Yeah, he died
Oh,
yesterday
my
at
freaking-
around 12. I heard of the news.
From what?
49 years
My
old.
time.
49 years old. Current
Yeah.
speculation is it was an aneurysm.
Yeah.
Holy crap, man.
One of the best guys in the community.
Mm-hmm. I know he was talking about showing up at Murph or Earth or something like that. He was saying.
Yep.
He said he had to come down to Earth or Murph this year.
I knew somebody that
And that
died
was a
from
few
an
months
aneurysm,
after.
and
That was a
just-
few months before they announced the coronavirus. So.
Yeah.
My aunt and my grandmother both passed from aneurysms.
Yeah, this dude was like 49. He was just sitting in his freaking
That's how old
recliner watching TV, and all of a
That's how old
sudden
Grant
he
was.
fucking died.
Yeah.
In some respects, I mean, I guess that's the way I would want to go. Just boom, done and over with, and like no pain, no
Hope it's quick.
like drowning or fire or something crazy or something like that. But damn, it's freaking hard on the family.
Yeah.
You know, I find it odd that Robbie, you're not the only. You're the one without a wrench.
I just gave
I was
him one.
just given a wrench. Oh, okay.
I don't care about having a wrench, man. I don't ever use a wrench.
He doesn't want the responsibility.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the only
Or
time I
like
used a
even
wrench was
responsibility.
maybe on Walter's channel once or twice or something.
Yeah,
I
this
don't-
is
I was a link to
this is
something.
my new channel, my political channel. Nobody would have a wrench because I want
Here's-
to make sure I can kick anybody out.
here's the thing. If I have a wrench, that means I have to pay attention to chat, and I don't want to pay attention to chat.
No, you don't. You don't have to. I mainly just give it so that way you don't. That way, if you post a link, it just happens.
Yeah. So you gonna get yourself a resin printer there, Ricky?
Not until after my finances recover
After you
from
move?
buying a
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Devin with 2 Y's and 1 N.
Yeah. Devin just says, "Who pays attention to chat?" Well, you can. You're there.
I pay attention to chat. I'm just joking, but
I idly do.
Have you?
I
sent
don't care
Have you
if
sent
I-
your wingman a link?
I put the link out there multiple times.
No, I meant
It was
Robbie
the
Mac.
Butcher when he
Oh.
checked in on Warcocki stream, he said he was driving.
Yeah.
I need to find a place tomorrow to get my hair cut.
Are they
Well, all of
still
them,
open
not
around?
just one.
Are they
Hmm?
still open here in
Walmart.
neck of the woods?
Walmart
They're-
sells clippers.
They're open, but it's
Yep.
it's one of those things where I don't want to,
Oh,
but I kind of have to because I have a by webcam audition Thursday.
yeah. Well, you can just
well,
get
hang
yourself
on,
a small
hang on.
cap and just wear that instead.
What did they call? What? Well, yeah, you could just get a piece of green skull cap to put on, and then you can have the software put hair in for you.
Yes, John Mac. Granted, I do a buzz cut anymore, but
What was that vacuum attachment to the clippers
The
so you can do
Flowbee?
your own hair? Yes.
Yeah.
No,
Or you can just go bald, just shave it all off,
mm-mm.
and just go pick it.
I do a buzz cut anymore. But I've cut my hair since I was 18.
As long
years
as I
old.
can still grow
Yep.
hair, and it isn't all the places that it needs to be, I'm gonna grow hair.
It's looking pretty good, Ricky.
I
I wouldn't
buzz
worry
cut
too
my
much
hair
with your hair.
anymore. I just put a number 2 on the clippers and go to town.
It is. I heard your yesterday. I think Ricky talking about where as you get older, hair starts growing out of places you never thought you had before, and
Mhm.
yeah, and the ears. And my biggest thing is my freaking eyebrows. Like they start growing like crazy freaking long. I have to trim my eyebrows now
We,
because otherwise it gets in my eyelids and all kinds of junk.
May he rest in peace. My wife and I call them Larry Hagman eyebrows.
Nice, yeah.
Because when he came back and when they brought Dallas back for that short
Yeah,
period
yeah.
before he died, he had like every
So
one of them
thick.
were like this long, and they
Yeah.
were like combed up
Yeah.
into place, and it's crazy.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. Because
So
I'll be like,
you got to cut those when they get like that. You
I'm
just
having
trim
the
them down a
problem
little
where
bit and they lay flat again.
my eyelashes are getting long enough that they're actually starting to curl back.
I'm getting, but I have fewer eyelashes than I used to.
yeah, I have no idea what the hell. I mean, I don't know what my eyelashes are doing, but if they're growing long, I'm screwed because I wouldn't even begin to know how the hell to trim those or curl them or anything. So
Yeah,
that's not
I
happening.
have fewer of them
But
than I used
the
to.
nose hair, the ear hair,
Mhm.
yeah, that's the eyebrows. That's driving me up a freaking wall.
I actually
Can't
have
deal
to
with
pluck
it.
my eyelashes. Which, of course, my wife, who can hardly grow any hair, complains about because she has
I
no
don't know,
eyelashes.
Devin. I don't know what it is. I've had several people
What is?
compliment me on my eyelashes, and my brother especially. He has like
Oh,
super nice eyelashes for whatever reason.
that
I don't know.
Devin's doing exactly what my wife was saying.
Yeah, no, I'm like auditioning for The Voice on Thursday.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, I don't want to.
Wow.
I didn't sign up for the audition. I got signed up for the audition.
All
Good
right.
luck.
Here's my recommendation. You got to have a really good fucking sob story to get on that show. I hate to say
have I not told you my backstory, Robbie?
Okay, actually, you do have a pretty good story. So, yeah,
Essentially
raising your
kidnapped
kid,
from early childhood,
raising your kid as a single dad and all that.
raised
with
by people
Walmart
who weren't my parents and didn't have legal right to be doing so. Then becoming a
I
single
forgot to ask
father
Monkey which one of
from
these to print.
age 20.
It does seem to me though that them damn
With sole
voting
custody
shows
of my
seem to
kid.
turn more about the backstory or whatever than it does the actual talent and the singing and all that.
And
You gotta play the game, I guess.
The death of one of my children.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I've been through some crap.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
It's something I don't think any parent should ever have to face.
No, I could not imagine that. I actually have nightmares nowadays about that.
Hello.
I have no kids of my own, so I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I don't ever want to
no
live.
parent should ever have to face.
Yeah, I don't ever want to live to the day where I see my child die.
The pain never goes away. You just learn how to live with it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I think it's different than like a parent or
hey guys,
someone
I'll be
else.
right back. I need to go.
Because you're always thinking of what could have been. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the hard. That would be the hardest freaking part for me.
And
I can't stay because it's noisy here. But I just wanted to say, how do y'all men get good eyelashes? Do you know how many times I've stabbed myself in the eyeball with a mascara wand?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say testosterone is what makes good eyelashes.
Maybe.
Like seriously.
Oh man.
But if that's the case,
Doug.
you don't want anything to do with that stuff.
Look at them eyelashes. Look at them eyelashes. My eyelashes are for shit.
But
Now, you want more fun there, Devin? I used to have hair down to my ass.
You know what I want to wonder? How come you girls have such awesome eyebrows? Because I have one eyebrow that goes all the way across my damn forehead, and I have to pluck the center of it so that it looks like two different eyebrows.
See, I don't care about eyebrows. They're kind of there. Aww. I don't care about eyebrows.
Upstairs now.
All right.
unconscious puppy.
People are used to anymore. The younger generation ladies, they're used to drawing their eyebrows on, so that's fine.
Ron showed his cat, and he took off.
Yeah.
He said he had to take it back upstairs.
Doug lost a child as well. It's tough, buddy. He says, that's
like I said, it's a pain that will never ever leave you. You just learn how to live with it. And a lot of days that are worse than others, like every year on her birthday.
Yeah. When you don't have a kid and you hear other people talk about kids and you're like, I don't really relate, I don't understand. But that is one thing that you can't relate to anybody until you have one of your own, and then you're like, You just don't want anything to happen to that kid.
And
you feel responsible for them, even.
And when you're in the hospital, and the people want to come to you and say things like it was in God's plan.
Oh no!
Yeah, there's
wasn't meant to
there's
be.
nothing you can say. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing they can
It's
say.
like it was everything I could do not, and I mean, it was an old woman that said it to me. It was everything in my power to not punch her square in the nose when she said it.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's always tough to step outside of yourself and look at it from their point of view and how they think. Like, in her mind, she's trying to console you to make you feel better about it.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you haven't been through what I'm going through right now, you don't have any right to speak on it in any way. Just walk away.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear anything you have to say about it. Walk away.
Yeah, that would be tough, man.
And you know, my wife was still in a very like numb state when she was saying this stuff, and I stepped between the two of them and I said, I think you need to leave.
Yeah, it's stupid. As you know, when my kids were younger, I mean, obviously it I don't want to say it haunted me, but it was something you were always, because I can't let them out of my sight. I can't let something happen to them. I can't. You go to an amusement park or I go to the racetrack or something, and I got a piece of paper with his name and my phone number and shit under his shoe, so that if he gets lost, he can show it to somebody or whatever. But now that they're older and they're out on their own, like I don't have any freaking control over them. You know what I mean? I can't put a piece of paper with my name and phone number under their shoe anymore, or whatever. So it really scares me more nowadays than when they were much younger. And I thought I was scared then. Now I'm just like, God, if something happens to him, he's driving, he's working 10-hour shifts, he's driving home late at night or early in the morning, and my daughter's working at Riley in downtown Indianapolis, working midnight shifts. So she's driving home at freaking 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, driving to work late at night. And I'm like, wow, if something happened to him, I would just be devastated. Tattooed eyebrows. Wow. Are your eyebrows tattooed, Devin?
No, it's called microblading, but they are 100%, there, and you can peep the scar from when I was a year old.
What'd you do to your eye?
1 year, 1 day old. I was a climber, and I climbed up on a stool and jumped from the stool to the top of a recliner. And from the recliner, I jumped and tried to grab the ceiling fan, which was spinning, which the ceiling fan apparently cannot hold like 25 pounds of weight on.
How the hell high are you jumping at 1 year old to hit a ceiling fan?
I climbed up on the top of a chair, which was rather tall, and it was a really short ceiling.
Wow.
And it was like directly under the ceiling fan, so I didn't have to jump that high. I really just had to like stand on the top of it and lift up.
Nice.
To hit my hands on the ceiling fan blades. And so I tried to spin on the ceiling fan, which of course it broke and threw me into a closet, into an open toolbox.
Nice.
And I cut my head open with a staple gun.
Of all things, a staple gun. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, I got 17 stitches in my face at a year old.
Yeah.
So I think I broke this bone in my face at a year old.
Wow.
I had my ear stitched back on.
1 year, 1 day.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to when the kids are younger. You're like constantly have to keep an eye on them. Because like one day my wife and I are sitting watching TV, and all of a sudden my son comes in with a bag of chips, and he sits down and he's like, "You guys want any chips?" And we're like, "Yeah." He's like 3 years old, and then all of a sudden we stop and we think, and we're like, "Wait a second, the chips are like up in the high cupboard. Like, how the fuck did you get them chips, dude?
It's
easy. And then he shows us, and he's like, we had a row of drawers. In the bottom
he made
cabinet.
stairs.
He pulled one drawer out, stepped in it, and then pulled the next drawer out, stepped in it, and the next one. Yeah, and got himself up there and got the chips out. We're like, damn it.
In Alaska, my dad used to store his motorcycle in my room when I was like 1 or 2. He would drain the tank and everything else, not think anything of it. Apparently, 1 year, he came in that spring to push the bike out and get it ready to be roadworthy again, and the handlebars came off in his hands.
Oh, wow.
I somehow not only opened up that little tiny toolkit that's on the bike, but then got bolts that were air ratcheted on off of it.
Damn.
Testing out Raspberry. I don't think the Raspberry's working. Oh, wait, we
I
got
forgot
some
my billing information again. That's something.
Does anybody recognize this person? I don't.
No, I don't either.
Who? Oh, I'm not in there, so I can't see.
No audio?
Are
Okay,
you
I heard a hello.
You posting the link publicly?
No. Well, it's been in the channel. I can't hear
It just testing out the Raspberry Pi.
Who was playing with the Pi?
Joe was talking about doing the Pi for his
Arcade.
video game, but not for this. I mean, I'm not sure what I missed a bit.
Hello? Who are you?
Oh, that's Chris.
Ah.
Who?
Travis?
Oh, okay.
Okay. I
Yeah.
don't think I've seen you before. Or if
Yeah,
I
I'm
did, I
holding-
don't
Audio,
remember.
audio's
hear
really,
his audio a
audio's
little
really
bit, but he's
loud.
really low. It's like super low.
Yeah, it's like hard to hear you. It's like an echo from somebody else's camera or something. Yeah.
Hey, Vince. Yeah, we can't hear you hardly at all.
Yeah. He's good, but yeah, we can't hear you at all, Chris. It's almost like you're coming in as an echo on someone else's channel or something. It's that low.
Yeah, it's like ultra low. It's like the lowest of lows. Actually, that sounds like a song, actually. Sounds a little
Ricky.
bit better. Speak again.
Ricky, there you go. Make a song.
Yeah, I gotta
Ultra
put the
low,
microphone-
low.
There we go. Now we can hear you.
Whoa. Sorry, what?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's something I'm playing around with on the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, much better. We can hear you now.
So, what you're using the Raspberry Pi to do the streaming, or what?
No, it's just playing with the Raspberry Pi camera and the Raspberry Pi. Everything's all on the Pi right now, so it's a
The mic and everything?
yes.
Gotcha.
Oh, cool.
So are you using Raspbian to connect?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
They have an actual microphone for the Pi, or are you just using like a headphone in reverse or something?
It looks like you have the hand mic there, if I remember correctly, right?
It does look like a microphone. It doesn't
Yeah, it's
look
a hand
like
mic.
Yeah, it doesn't look like an earbud or something that you'd be talking into it backwards.
So my wife dropped a knife on the floor, butter knife. One of the dogs she's training to be a service dog picked it up and tried to give it to her, but she didn't realize it. The dog gave up and put the knife on my Akita, who's sleeping on the floor,
Wow.
rather than putting it back on the floor.
Okay, take that off.
Oh, I just heard I can't turn that off.
That's almost right up there when you're vacuuming something and the vacuum won't pick up something, and you'll walk over to it, you'll pick it up, you'll look at it, and then you'll drop it back on the floor so you can try vacuuming over it again.
Totally done that.
Yeah,
Done.
I've done it a bunch of times.
Octopi can't connect to the printer because the printer's not even on.
Where you're like, this should work.
Yeah.
Now work.
Yeah, instead of
Well, if you had the curve,
walking over to the trash and dropping it in the trash, yeah.
Okay, so I got a nozzle for $45.14. $45.14. Nozzle X, and I pick it up tomorrow. So yay!
That's a pricey
Cool.
nozzle.
Well,
the
nozzle
nozzle
X's
X's
are
they're good.
pricey.
Okay.
They're worth it.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah,
bought
I
a point
I got a
six.
0.6 and a 0.8, but I haven't put them on yet.
I haven't bought crap for my printers in about 6 months. I can't afford anything, so
Tanner needed to step away.
yeah.
He's back.
Cool.
I know gone then.
I'll pop him back in when he comes back.
So that is kind of cool, Mr. Travis. Are you? So what are you using for a monitor, or are you just watching the stream on the computer?
No, it's just a regular LCD monitor that's plugged into the Pi.
So the whole thing is through a Pi.
Correct. So it's basically like a Raspberry Pi desktop.
Bitchin'.
I was doing that. Actually, I'm in the process of designing a cyber deck that'll
Stream
have that'll have 2 Pis in it, and one of them will be hooked up to a 7-inch touch screen, and the other one to a 10-inch 2K monitor.
Nice.
You kind of shook your head a little bit when I said something about whether it was an earbud or not. I don't know if you guys realize this, but I did it as a kid where you could take a pair of headphones, plug it into the microphone jack of a Walkman or whatever back in the day when you actually had Walkmans and all that sort of stuff, and you could talk into a headphone as if it was a microphone. It would pick up the vibrations or whatever, and it was horrible, but it would still work.
Yep,
Yeah.
done it.
So Mac, you can hook up a DVI cable to an HDMI cable and just run that through the Pi. It's all HDMI enabled.
Yeah, that's what this is. This is so it goes from a micro, because this is a Pi 4. So,
Yep.
So you know micro to regular HDMI to then DVI?
To a DVI, yes.
Okay.
No. I have 3B pluses or whatever that I know have the HDMI plugs on them. Or I was just curious whether he was doing the whole shebang through it or whether he was just doing the actual communication, but then he was watching the stream on his computer or something.
The Pi 4 can actually run a whole operating system actually better than the Pi 3 ever could.
Well,
all you have to do is run Raspbian on it, and it will do everything.
It's no longer called Raspbian.
Oh, when did they change the name of that?
It's now Raspberry Pi OS.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
And that happened just before they released the new EEPROM for the Pi 4.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They were talking about that. I remember hearing about it. I didn't look into it as much as I should have, but yeah, that makes sense now.
I've got 6 of them here, so I've been trying to figure out what to use them all for.
Yeah.
Well, if you got a whole bunch of them, set up one as your hotspot.
So here's
already done.
Here's a question, Chris.
Set up one for your printer to run Octopi.
I've got one on each printer.
Ethernet cable, or are you using
Wi-Fi? Set up one main one for your farm.
This is Wi-Fi.
Oh, perfect. Nice.
With Octofarm.
Octofarm does not run on a Pi.
What?
It can run in a Docker, but not at good performance.
Oh, that sucks.
As I'm replacing all my Pi 3s, I'm actually going to turn those into a Docker swarm.
Oh, okay, cool. I was actually thinking you could probably use one of them as a, if you know what you're doing, you can set it up as a media center.
Next question: can you do like multiple cams and switch between them all with the Pi?
On a Pi? Yeah.
Yeah.
You should be able to.
As long as the FMPEG or whatever it is called.
You have to manually switch between which one you want versus like the, I don't know, what does everybody else use where they're like flipping back and forth between cameras?
Yeah, OBS.
OBS, yeah. Sorry.
They have a version of it, and it kind of runs on the Pi, not as well as on a full-blown desktop.
Yeah. So you run a mouse with that as well in order to do? Okay.
Yeah, I have a little miniature keyboard and a trackball as a mouse.
Snazzy. I like it.
Yeah, it's just something to tinker with. I was just having some audio and headphone issues with it. earlier.
Yeah, your mic gain is still a little low.
Yeah, I gotta hold
It's
it up.
probably
to
just the
face
mic
pretty
he's
much.
using. Do they have different mics for the Pi? Or?
Yeah, this one I'm just testing out. It was like $10 on Amazon, and it's a USB. So I
Yeah.
grabbed it.
Oh,
tested
you
out.
were at. Okay, I remember now. You were asking me about trying to get that mic to work.
Yes.
So did you play with Alice and get it working, or did you end up installing a different driver?
No, I played with in Alice and got it to work with the headphones.
Good.
But it's just I'm gonna have to get me a different microphone because this one I'm probably gonna get rid of someday.
You can also use a Bluetooth headset.
Seems kind of low gain a little bit. Yeah, it's difficult to hear if you hold it away from your, more than like a foot away from you. It's difficult to hear. But
Right.
Hey, has anybody ever watched a channel called the Computer Clan?
I have not.
Check out their latest video. The guy decided to go and buy himself a lit battery just to see how good the claims were. It was funny to watch. Just to put it that way, because Lit is that company you guys have all seen the ads probably, where they have like a solar power, they put it outside, and in 30 minutes the battery's supposedly charged. Yeah, it doesn't work.
I actually have not the lit one. I have one of the older ones from like 6 or 7 years ago, and it kind of worked.
Well, they said you could get it up to 25%, but because it doesn't give you a digital readout, either it's 25, 50, 75 or full. So he said it could be at 44%, and I wouldn't know because there's no digital readout.
Yep.
But also, he did a whole video on it because he still has not received his Lit battery yet. And Lit is known for not sending out their batteries.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, yeah. Great company. Draw ship from China.
So how did he do a video on a battery he's not received yet?
Because he
out of curiosity.
The same way that
back.
Brian Vines did his original V2 unveiling.
Ricky, you need a freaking haircut, man.
He bought his from a Chinese reseller, which basically sells the Lit and will brand it. So he bought it off of Alibaba.
No, I get that, but how the hell does he do a video on it?
He ordered one from Lit directly, never got it.
Like
So
he
he ordered one through Alibaba.
Yeah. The same company that provides Lit the battery, he bought from Alibaba.
Okay.
And did a whole review on it. And the reviews weren't that great. But he's like, for $12, buying it straight from China, worth it. Paying $100 that they're asking for, not worth it.
If you missed it, Ricky, Chris Travis is streaming from an entire Pi device. He's got headphones, his monitor, his keyboard, his mouse, and his microphone is all plugged into a Raspberry Pi.
Now, is that a Pi 4?
Yeah.
Yes.
4 gig or 8?
4.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I've got my Retro Pi running on as a 4 gig Pi 4.
Mine's currently on an 8 gig.
I bought it at
I'm
going
to be swapping it though. I'm putting a 4 gig in its place because I need the 8 gig for the Cyberdeck.
Yeah, and I bought it at Best Buy. One of the Cana kits came with the little mini.
Wait,
HDMI.
They sell Cana kits at Best Buy?
Yes, they do.
Wow.
Okay. I need to buy a new power supply for mine, but
that was a big part of the reason I bought it, because it was just so convenient to just grab it off the shelf and, well, actually pull up out front of Best Buy and then bring it out to my car, because that was at the time that Best Buy wasn't allowing people in Best Buy.
Right. So you need to do what?
Who?
I can't remember his name. Canadian.
Ron?
Yeah,
Ron?
you started Ron. Yeah, you started to say something and then
He's not Canadian. He's naked.
no, he just knows me by my call sign.
Naked Ron.
Yeah, that's my call sign. VA3.
Oh, FUCK.
Yeah.
No,
All you have to do to confirm his Canadianness is have him say project.
Project, eh?
He says project.
I don't need him to do. I can tell by his call. VA3. That's Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Canadians say project and Americans say project.
Foxtrot Uniform Charlie.
Yep. November 0, Lima Oscar Zulu.
Yep. And I bet both of them are just going, whatever.
Pretty much. I don't blame them.
I can't believe how many makers are actually ham radioists, though.
I lost interest in radio stuff after my teenage years in CB radio. It was
that CB's still strong, though. There's a lot on CB.
We all had CBs in our cars when I was a teenager, where I grew up. So, but that was before there were cell phones.
Well, I lost all interest before BBS's hit, and I was like all enthralled about that.
Well, so in Alaska, you had to have a CB because 3 months out of the year you could be snowed in your house.
Yeah.
And then
very well. So.
And then when I went off-roading in Washington State, all the Jeep clubs required you had a CB.
But whenever you'd hop in your car, and because you'd already called your friend's house and they were gone, you go hop in your car and turn it on, fire up the CB, and find out where they're at.
Yep.
And then you could go meet up with them.
Or you do rabbit hunts.
Yeah.
I love doing rabbit hunts.
I ended up, because when I first got my CB, I went by the handle Country Boy. And then it got changed on me because everyone started calling me Tracker. Because I got this really, really expensive CB. And I mean, it was one that was meant for a big rig. And I got it for $40 because there was a car audio place that had special ordered it for somebody, and they had paid all but they had paid $150 down to get the place to order it. The place ordered it, and the guy never came to pick it up. Well, I went in that audio shop when they were going out of business, had a going out of business sign and all that, and I had this little crappy CB radio, and I asked them. I was like, what's the story on the CB? And he said, guy ordered it. He paid $150 to have us order it, and he disappeared. We can't get a hold of him, and we're going out of business. And he's like, I got 190 in it. If you'll pay the difference so that I break even on it, you can have it.
Nice. So
I paid $40 for a radio that was supposed to be $300 radio. And then I took it to, there was a local shop in town. It was called Jim's Boneyard, and he specialized in CBs. I had him install it and installed a 55-inch power load whip and got a Dynamic on it. That was the mic that you put the 9-volt battery in the mic.
Yep.
And then he took the radio
Dyna power mic.
Yep. And he did what he called a peak and tweak on it. That's where he hooked up the SWR meter, and you get every ounce of power legally that you can get out of it.
And
so I could stomp on anybody that wasn't running a foot warmer after he was done. And that's a linear for those who don't speak CB geek.
Can you zoom in on what you're showing?
Oh, yeah, that's my printer.
Yeah. And so,
why is it not?
There you go.
It had a really accurate.
There we go.
There you go.
It had a really accurate squelch meter on it, like the analog squelch meter.
Mm-hmm.
So I could just turn the squelch up and track people, because I'd go to a point where I'd turn the squelch up until they would fade out, and then dial it back just a little, and then I would drive until their signal got stronger.
Yep.
And keep repeating the process. So I would track down the people who were being obnoxious, especially over on Channel 19, and they were annoying truckers. I would track them down and tell the truckers where to find the people who were ticking them off.
Or 7.2 megahertz. The amateur radio people, that 7.2, it might as why did my camera do that? It might as well be CB.
Yeah.
CB with 1 kilowatt amps.
I would track down those folks, find them, and then because, like I said, my radio was so much more powerful than theirs, I could stomp right over the top of them. They couldn't key up their mic and block me from telling the truckers where they were at because I would stomp all over them. And so I'd tell the truckers where to find them, and some of them paid some consequences.
Uh-oh, I think we just lost Zoan.
No, you didn't lose me. I'm hitting the wrong button.
And so they started calling me Tracker, and so I just switched my CB handle at that point to Tracker. It got to the point where they would like literally come looking for me to find them because they knew what channel that me and my friends always hung out on.
Yeah.
So the truckers would bounce over that channel and put a call out for me and see if I was out there. And they're like, "You mind coming over 19 and finding this jerk?" That's like, "No, sure, I'll find him." Had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, we still do. Well, I used to when I was in the Pacific Northwest. We would go out jeeping, and a bunch of us were amateur radio operators as well. So I built a very low power transmitter that just beeped out my call sign. And what we would do is I would take off down the trail in my Jeep, get a good mile or two away from them, and then throw the canister off down in the down into the hills. And they would get out of their Jeeps and try to go find it. And a couple of the guys actually built a transceiver setup that they could actually do triangulation. So one would go one way, one would go the other, and then they'd just walk in this big triangle, and the receivers coordinated with themselves using spread spectrum. So they could all see what the other meters were. That was kind of unfair in some ways.
Right.
Okay, I'm getting emailed by work. What's going on?
Oh, no.
Well, I took a day off because I'm on meds.
There was one guy that was a big jerk, and he was coming from a base station, and I found him, and turned out when I found him and reported him, the FCC went to his house and confiscated his gear. Because the FCC was listening that night and looking for him. They confiscated his gear and then fined him a whole bunch of money.
Yep. Which is better than what people used to do, which was they'd go out there and when he wasn't broadcasting, they'd put a safety pin through his coax. Completely blow out any of the foot warmer, as you called it.
Yeah. Yeah, and the reason he was such a problem is he was running a 1,000-watt linear.
Yep. Stole some amateur radio operators amp.
Yeah.
Thing is you can get so much better just with antenna. That was what I did in Alaska as a kid. I built antennas. And, I could reach from the base of the mountain that I lived on to Anchorage, which was a good 80 miles, 40, 80 miles, somewhere in there. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what my antenna on my car was a 55-inch Hustler with the power load thing hanging up in the middle of it.
The coil.
Around all over the place. It was pretty awesome, though.
Dude, is it seriously 5:30 already? Wow.
Or 30, but yeah.
Yeah, 4:30 here.
I'm on real time. You guys are on fake time, remember?
What?
Talking to the guys.
Which is why I was getting emailed by work, because they're like, "Hey, we need you to look at this first thing tomorrow if you're feeling better."
That's a Tom Llama joke, sorry.
When I was gone, I had a soda. I got a soda, and I don't know where I put it. I must have set it down somewhere between the kitchen and here.
Is that where the 2-liter came from in my hand?
No, just a can. Just a can.
Holy cow.
Although apparently cans are getting harder and harder to acquire.
Yes, they are.
Coca-Cola is having a major aluminum shortage.
Apparently change is getting hard to acquire.
Yes. The Federal Reserve
blows
is
my
running.
mind. Yeah, pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters. There's a shortage, so like the local grocery stores are handing out gift cards. If they owe you
all the
change,
stores around here are telling you to pay with exact change because you're not getting.
I don't understand that. How the hell does COVID or any of the shit we're going through actually have to, like, nobody's going to stores, so how in the hell is there less change in the world?
Because the stores, before they shut down and went to contactless payments, took all their money to the banks. So the banks have the change, but nobody's pulling it out of the bank.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go get a whole bunch of money. I'm going to take $100 in just quarters next time I go to the bank.
I actually... if our well waters aren't any good right now, I'm going to have to disappear for at least long enough to go to the bank, pick up a roll of quarters so I can get water from the machine.
Oh, wow. You have to go to a machine to get water?
Because with my well, because we had a heavy rain last night, if it's got a lot of silt, the filter will clog up in a heartbeat.
Your well has a quarter slot in it?
No.
Sorry, I just had to ask.
No, I'm just glad I caught on to it. It's not fair, I'm on a hydrocodone and a few other nice things.
Hey, it's all good.
Oh, I can't get water. I can't drink.
I like playing on words. I just like goofing off and playing on words all the time. None of it makes no sense.
Good.
Bear with me.
Oh, good. At least we're doing something. I'm shocked that we have 7 people watching us.
All 7?
According to this. I don't know. Hang on.
I don't know. There's 5 of us in chat, so...
Right,
Yeah,
but I'm not on
only showing
YouTube,
2.
so I'm just in the StreamYard.
Oh,
Dan's
gotcha.
here. Well, Dan's in chat.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
Why is Dan not in the freaking StreamYard? I don't understand that.
He's working.
He's actually at work.
Oh.
What was that, Chris?
I'm just surprised that this thing is working on the Pi.
I think it's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
It's a hell of a lot better than my freaking track phone was. That's for damn sure.
Oh, and Vince, I got your sticker like a week ago and just forgot to say thank you. So since you're here, Vince, thank you.
Oh, I got your sticker also, but except for Butchum still has it. He's going to bring it over this weekend, so thank you in advance.
Yep, and I already thanked him for it. I just got to get it put into a laminated sheet with the other ones I found.
I'm still waiting for mine, but I feel mine's probably stuck in Chicago somewhere.
Yeah. I've actually sat and had Skyline chili with Vince before, so there's that. Booyah.
Tablet.
You got me beat. I had barbecue with Chris Riley.
That's better. You don't want Skyline chili.
Yeah, I had Gates barbecue in Kansas City with Chris Riley.
Skyline is really good when you first start eating it, and then like an hour later, you're like, "Oh, I shouldn't have eaten that."
I saw that's our grocery store here sells cans of like name brand Skyline chili.
Nice.
But the can, like you'll compare it to another brand, and like another brand's like $1.50 for a can. The Skyline chili is $4.80 for the same size of can.
Wow. Have you had Skyline chili? Not from a can. I mean, from an actual.
No.
Yeah. I don't. It's okay, but man, I don't know. It's not like chili where I grew up. I mean, it's like it's all spaghetti noodles, and they throw all kinds of different cheeses and.
Yeah, I think the closest thing we have around here is getting like the chili 5-way or whatever from
probably
Steak and Shake.
I don't know how, like if someone asked me to describe it, I wouldn't know how to describe it. Like I've never had anything like it. It's like a 5-way cheese chili with spaghetti noodles.
Yeah,
basically, this is the best way to describe it.
Like if you go to Steak and Shake and you get the 5-way chili, it's served over a bed of spaghetti. There's chili and the cheese and the onions and all that.
Yeah. Where I grew up, chili was like at Tops the macaroni noodles in it, not
Where I grew up, there was no noodles in chili.
Yeah.
No, he's talking about 4-way.
Yeah.
Which I never even knew until I met my wife. And I'm kind of wishing
my
I
wife
still didn't
makes
know.
an awesome red chicken chili, which is to die for. And there are no noodles in it. It's just chicken and chili, and it's so freaking spicy and so hot. It's freaking awesome. It is the bomb. Love it. Not so much in the summer, like in the winter. It's freaking great.
My wife actually just made a beef stewish soup thing from a roast that she made yesterday.
Allergies.
And I can't stand soup, but man, this was amazing.
As long as you're sure it's not the Rona, Ron.
I know what
you don't have allergies in Canada, do you?
I'm allergic to mold.
North, man.
Okay, I'm allergic to mold, grass, tree, ragweed. And there's one other one I'm allergic to, and basically it's one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. And I'm also allergic to cats, and I have 2 of them because my mom loves cats. So
my wife is allergic to dogs and cats, but she's not allergic to this dog
because it's hypoallergenic.
Yes, he's hypoallergenic.
Yep.
Technically, their dander is held closer to their skin, but yeah,
and he doesn't shed.
Right.
Yeah, I got to take mine into the groomers every so often.
The only allergies I ever had, only allergy I ever had was something in triaminic DM cough syrup, and then now apparently guinea pigs I am allergic to. We've had a gazillion animals in this house, and apparently guinea pigs are one of the ones that's going to make me allergic. So, which really sucks because I want to pick them up and hold them, but I've done that enough, and every time I do, then it like my face puffs up, my eyes bulge out, all kinds of crazy ass shit. So I'm done.
My wife is allergic to dogs, and yet she is a dog breeder and trainer.
Yeah, I had guinea pigs, lots of guinea pigs when I was a kid. I had like literally this ginormous cage and had tons of them. What I don't miss is the noise that they make. That weep, 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 weep.
Yeah, well, they don't make that noise until you walk around the cage. Like when my wife goes to feed them, then they get all excited. They come out and they like see the pail of spinach or whatever the hell it is she's going to put in there, or the hay or whatever. We mix it up all the time and try to give them a decent diet or whatever. But yeah, then they do that whistling kind of weird sound, but I do love.
And when they bite, they can do some damage.
Yeah, I still touch them because, like, whenever I'm walking by the cage, if one of their butts is exposed and I can reach it with my finger, I'll just poke them in the butt, and they get all freaked out about that. They do not like being touched in the butt, man. It's good times.
What if somebody poked you in the butt every time you walk by?
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey,
that's all I've been relegated to. I can't do anything else. I can't pick them up. I can't hold them.
Be a giant finger cramming you in the rear every time you walk by.
I'm just poking them in the butt, man.
You might be okay if John Mack was doing it.
It's a
funny.
few Rob Lowe jokes we can skirt around.
I'll poke them, and then the other one will get running around. If the other guinea pig touches him in the butt, then he ends up hopping. Like, they don't just like scurry. I mean, they like hop up. Like, holy shit, what was that? They had no idea what the hell was happening to them.
It won't be long. I'll have to start cooking dinner tonight.
Oh,
this is my last week of getting home chef. Had to cancel it to save the money right now.
Oh, okay. You're on one of those food programs, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found HelloFresh to be one of the best ones I've used.
Well, Home Chef is amazing.
Oh, is it?
Wait,
Home Chef is absolutely amazing.
Are we talking about like ordering food online or something, or
no? These are like
imagine your monthly box every day, but it's food, not filament.
Oh my dear God! Yeah, I couldn't deal with that.
I signed up for one of them. It was actually a pretty good price. I only paid $30 a week. Cut my grocery bill by a third.
We get servings for 4 people. We get 2 days a week is all we get. And it works out to be like $8 a person.
Yep.
And you can't go to McDonald's and get 4 value meals for $8 a person.
Right.
And now, granted, there's you've got to prepare the food, but it's
sorry, Vince.
It's delicious and amazing, and it's like gourmet quality. And Home Chef, you learn how to cook like a real chef in the process.
Wow.
Hey, Luke just put out a video making with Luke.
My wife and I might have to look into stuff like that next year, because once my son is off to college and it's just the 2 of us, it's going to be rough trying to make me even like the past year has been kind of goofy where, he goes off and does something or whatever, and we're left to our own devices, and we're like, well, what the hell are we going to do? What are we going to make? Like, anything you make is too much for just 2 people to eat.
Well, and that's the other nice thing about those is they're measured out.
Yeah.
Well, and with COVID and everything else going on right now, it's getting really hard to find some ingredients.
Yeah.
So if you have the monthly box, they've already bought it in bulk.
Just a little bit. We started shopping like 6 weeks ago for my son's graduation party this weekend. I mean, I was like, no, we need to start buying stuff like 6 weeks ago. We're like, yeah, we need to start buying stuff now, because I don't want to be left the week before. Like, normally you could just go buy a bunch of burgers and brats and buns and be done with it. And I'm like, no, we need to get all that crap early.
Yeah,
I would say the things that this has taught me, because I mean, I could already cook, but the things that this has taught me is it's taught me to manage my time making multiple things at once better. Because literally in the instructions, it'll say, once you prep the vegetables. Okay, now start.
Oh, it breaks everything down. To me, that's always been the part of cooking.
It'll say,
trying to get everything to finish at the same time is always
and it's like pat your meat dry, season your meat, add it to the hot pan.
Yeah, and while that's
it'll tell you once you've added that to the hot pan, do this. And if you read the file card and you go step by step, your everything gets done at the same time.
Well, okay.
So you got the right portions, because you don't have waste that way. You're not ending up with leftovers that you put in the fridge with intention to eat later and never do, and then throw out a week later.
To an extent, we eat a lot of leftovers. I mean, both my son and I both do, but once he's gone, then he's not going to end up eating them.
Right. So you end up with the right portion sizes. You end up with this complicated meal that when you break it down into steps and you do the steps in the right order, it's not that complicated, and everything finishes at the same time. And then it tells you to plate it like the picture on the front. And so you even do the whole plating thing where you plate it up to look like the picture.
That's my problem with McDonald's, is it never looks like the pictures in the
It never looks like the picture.
It never does.
It's a Big Mac. In reality, it's a Big Mac.
Is like this thin. It's like wafer thin.
On this side is smashed this thin, and this one is out here. The patty's hanging half off on this side, the cheese half off on that side. You're going, what?
Now, in all fairness, if I had to make a Big Mac, it would probably look the same way. So
there's only one.
Who threw this together? Were they drunk?
In the end, only one food that looks the same in the end: corn.
Popcorn looks pretty good.
No, you never mind.
Hey, give me a second. I just gotta fix my camera here.
Yep.
All right, guys, I'm gonna head on out. This station is pretty nice, but I have no chair for it. I got to stand the whole time. So
oh crap!
Oh yeah, no, screw that.
Right?
Yeah, we get it.
So
I think it's a cool test.
That is awesome. It really is.
Yeah, I'm gonna play around with it some more, and eventually, I do have an empty desk. Right? I'll probably reset it up, but it's on the other side of the basement.
What you need to do is a 3D print some kind of an armature that goes from your headphones and holds that little microphone up near your face, and then you don't have to hold it.
Yeah. I do have a Bluetooth headset I might try with it. See
Yeah,
how
there
that
you go.
goes.
Yeah, might as well take advantage of the Raspberry Pi's Bluetooth.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's cool as hell.
That is, it's something I often wondered if you could do, like if a Pi could handle it, and obviously it can.
You would think, yeah.
And I mean, this is kind of nice because I'm using the Pi camera too. So I did
Right.
3D print a little housing and a clamp to clamp onto the monitor, and there's
And
a
the
housing for the
So
itself. And
is that a Pi cam that you're using, or the
Just a webcam that's USB.
no, it's the Pi camera itself, so it plugs right
Yeah.
into the Pi.
So
with
as
that,
long as you're
flat
within
sheet.
your, as long as you're within your Wi-Fi or a hotspot on your phone, and you have a
Yeah.
5-volt battery pack, you could feasibly go mobile.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I go mobile all the time with my this little guy right here.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Are there any
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can locate that soda that I set down somewhere.
Are there any issues with plugging a regular webcam into it that you know of?
More power.
No, I don't think so. It's I
The
mean, there's-
the Pi camera, if you're going through the onboard ribbon cable, has a direct path to the GPU, whereas if you're using a USB cam, it's got to go through the CPU first.
Yeah.
So you'll
So
actually
my-
get better frame rate off the Pi cam.
Might be a little more lag if you used a webcam. Might be a
Yes.
good test in the future, Chris.
Well, actually, I'm using a webcam right now on my Pi connected to through right there.
Right. The latency difference isn't much until you start getting into the higher resolutions.
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm only running this. This is only a 720p camera, so
Same on my printer. It's a 720p Microsoft Live Cam.
Oh, you're using
Um,
Microsoft? I got Logitech 270.
Yep.
It's on
But
sale.
when I'm doing my when I have the Google Coral TPU module plugged in and I'm doing the object recognition, the Pi cam is so much faster.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've just seen some things in the past in terms of using a Pi cam with Octoprint versus a regular webcam and trying to sort the resolution and the frame rate and all that stuff out. So I wasn't sure if it would be any different for what Chris is doing here. This is why I asked.
Later, Dan.
Oh,
all right, guys. Catch you later in a few minutes.
All right. See you, Chris.
Yeah, I actually have the Pi that I have in that Argus case is actually set up for doing machine learning. And it uses the Pi V2 camera with an M12 lens adapter.
One thing I'm interested in and may have to try at some point. I saw a tutorial video on how to set up multiple Pis as a Blender render farm.
Ooh.
So you could have your own render farm and not have, but only have like $300 tied up in the whole setup.
Oh, you're talking about just rendering. Like you set up a scene and you're
Where
doing
it's,
like rendering.
the rendering load
Yeah.
between all of the processors.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
that would make sense. Yeah.
Cheaper than buying another GPU.
It's freaking crazy considering like when I was in college, we had what the hell were those alias systems or something like that were like crazy, took you forever to render one frame,
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
like 30 minutes to render
Well,
a frame or something.
Because if you want to render an animation that's been fully textured and with like an HDRI background and all that kind of stuff,
yeah, that was
I mean,
always
you're
the
talking
bottleneck.
10, 15 minutes per frame.
Right.
And then you're talking 30 frames per second. So,
Right. That was always the bottleneck. And nowadays you think about, you just, pigtail 3 or 4 pies and
you
it'll
start
do
thinking
all the
of
rendering
like
for you.
5 hours per second
Yeah.
to render a fully textured animation. You start going, oh my God.
Pretty amazeballs. You know what's really sad about it all is that all the pies are being used for that. Well, okay, not all the pies are being used for that, but you can use pies for using that, and all the GPUs are being used to do Bitcoin mining. That's what everybody's doing. Like not anything with rendering or graphics at all.
any of that Bitcoining or anything else is actually done by GPUs, not CPUs anymore. They got rid of the.
No, that's what I'm
his
saying. Is
That was his
it's
point.
like, yeah,
We're using
It's like-
we're using CPUs on Pis to render Blender stuff, which is graphics,
Right.
while
And then
big
using
miners are
graphics, yeah.
using
It,
GPU.
I mean,
exactly.
technically, it is still CPU power because it's not. You're not rendering it real time. All you're doing is rendering. But still, it's kind of comical that like GPUs are so hard to get. Well, they were for a long time because everybody was using them for freaking Bitcoin mining.
Well, that's because people thought that they could get rich off of mining. I used to mine a long time ago. I still have like close to 3 or 4 Bitcoins sitting in my wallet right now. I've never cashed in because they've always been there just in case I've ever ran into money issues.
Ron, are you fucking nuts or like, what's
The
a
reason-
Bitcoin nowadays? Like $3,000 or something? $4,000?
I think
More?
it's like 900, something like that. I think it was at 9 or 10, something like that right
I
now.
thought there were more than that.
They used to
9.24 thousand.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was gonna say that's
No, he meant 1,000. He meant 1,000.
Yeah.
9,000.
that's United States dollars, Ron.
Yep.
I know that.
That's like 60 grand.
Here's the problem, though. If I try to cash out all of it, I have to pay
Holy
a shitload of money back to them.
No, you don't.
$12,590 is what one
You just
Bitcoin
go
is
to you
worth
go to
to
the
me.
United
went up
States.
then.
No,
I'll
in
tell
Canada.
you what, Ron.
Oh, yeah.
You transfer those Bitcoins to me, and I'll get them to you for half the cost of what Canada's going to charge you to get.
No,
that
no,
money.
no. It's not what Canada charged me. It's what the coin company is charging me.
The people who do the conversions.
Yeah, they're really. If I take out little bits of chunks, the conversion rate is low. If I take out the full chunk, the conversion rate is half the amount.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah. it's
You
ridiculous.
seriously have like 4 Bitcoin?
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah.
Holy shit!
And when it hit its highest mark, super high mark, that's when I started seeing my Bitcoin costs were cut by were going to cost me just to cash out one of the coins when it was like close to $9,000. To cash out one of the coins, it was going to cost me close to $5,000.
Okay, well here's a stupid question: how much did it cost you to get those Bitcoins?
0.
Yeah. Okay. So
Because I got into Bitcoin.
So there's that.
I got into Bitcoin before the CPUs started doing harsh code mining. I had the couple of Bitcoins just because I wanted to see what it was all about, and I still had the code kicking around. And I went
$0 versus them charging you $5,000 or whatever it is. But I mean,
Yeah.
you're still way the hell ahead of 0.
True, but at the time when I could have cashed them in, I was doing okay with life, and I totally kind of said, "Oh, I know I got like 1 or 2. I couldn't remember how many I had. I actually had 4. If I realized I had 4, I might cash out 2 of them. But the cost of cashing it out and the cost of recouping the money and trying to get it out is a headache and a half. And it's not worth it.
I totally email me and you just send me them Bitcoins and I'll take that off your hands. No problem whatsoever.
Well,
I totally get where you're coming from. It's a pain in the butt. I'll even give you like a couple $100 just to like.
It's not getting the money out. It's the conversion rate. It's the stupid. They charge stupid amounts on all of them.
Wow.
Go to Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas, I probably get better.
No, well, actually, you can do even better than that because if you're at Vegas, a couple of the casinos now, you can actually use Bitcoin to gamble.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
And then when you cash out your chips, it's an automatic conversion for free.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. That's interesting. I did not know
There you
that.
go.
Okay, so I'll have to think about that then. But right now, what I'm paying is I'm paying like 4 cents for every $300 coming out of it.
Did Tanner's video freeze?
You put all your money
okay.
into Vegas. You play one hand, and
Yep.
whether you win or lose, it doesn't matter. Then you cash it all out, and you stuff all that crap in your pockets, and you go back across the border to Canada, dude.
Yeah, but the thing is,
except right now, if he comes here, he's stuck.
exactly.
Oh yeah, he can't go. Well, no.
He can go
It's a
back, but then he's got to go into
Canadian-
quarantine. And do you really want to go to Vegas right now?
You
Yeah,
don't want to
Vegas
go to
is a
quarantine
super
with a bunch
hot
of
spot right
cash
now.
stuffed in your pockets. Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, and plus, if I go back to the States, then I have to claim all the money I have in States funds.
Just
And then
leave the money with me. Go back to Canada, and then I'll mail it to you after.
Yeah, I'll probably never see the checks again.
Rana, I would totally.
I'll just see printer parts come back, not just.
I would totally send you the money for a fee.
For a fee, yeah.
A small nominal fee.
Yeah, no, but back in the day before the whole cryptocurrency was a big thing, I had money in what was it? Yeah, I can't pronounce
Leavenworth?
it. No, Levin, and then I converted over to Bitcoin. Oh,
is that the Second Life currency?
Leviathan is what I had the money in. To my Leviathan, throwed it over to Bitcoin because that's when Leviathan and Bitcoin actually were the same amount of money. And Leviathan was easier to mine. And I only did it for a couple months, and I mined it up to something like $10 worth in Leviathan dollars, which turned into Bitcoin dollars up to 4 Bitcoins. I was like, oh, okay, I'll just leave it in Bitcoin, and I just played for it for a little bit and totally forgot about it. And lo and behold, yeah, it's worth money now.
Wow, that's crazy. That's freaking awesome. Also,
a lot of people didn't think Bitcoin was going to be that popular, but it actually did get that big. So,
yep. I'm still kicking myself and not finding that extra. I was short $500 on a Google buy-in when they went public.
Yeah, I kind of bet myself too when they went public. I couldn't buy into it.
I was $500 short and could not talk anybody into doing it with me.
Jeez. Well, if I knew you back then, I probably would have paid into it. That, and I remember another coin that's really popular too. Like, I want to see what Lyria is all about with Facebook and the rest of them.
Well, there was also the one of the original electronic currencies, which was the money they used in Second Life.
Yeah, I forget what that one was called.
And I actually had quite a bit of that for a while.
Ooh, were you able to cash it in or no?
I cashed it in. I cashed out basically and stopped playing. Linden.
Yeah, Linden. Yeah, that was a big. That currency's doing really well now too.
Is it?
Talking about
yeah, it went back up something.
I wish I had known that you could buy stock in AOL back when I was like 23 years old.
Yep.
I thought you had to be like some rich mogul to buy stock. I didn't realize you could just walk to the bank and go, "Oh yeah, I want to buy stock in AOL," and they would give it to you.
I was sitting there thinking, listening to all this, I was thinking back to like Forrest Gump. I was like, yeah, a friend of mine told me to buy some apples. I don't know
some
why.
fruit company, yeah.
Told me it's going to be the next big thing.
Wasn't there was some movie I saw a few years ago where the guy sent back like a note or something to himself. Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh
yeah. Awesome movie.
Haven't seen.
I've not watched it.
It's comical. I mean, it's it's not Oscar winning or something, but it's a comical, funny movie that I think most here would enjoy.
I loved all the references to the movies that Better Off Dead. They did a ton of references to that movie.
Oh, did they really? I didn't even catch that. Better Off Dead was an awesome movie too.
Well, they had to because the same actor.
I have to say, I watched Shockma last night after Chris recommended that, and I was just like so disappointed. It's not even funny. Like it's like an after-school special turned horror movie, but it's not really a horror movie. It's supposed to be a horror movie, but it's not. It's just comical.
You want to know what movie?
I don't know. You gotta watch it.
One movie that I watched because a lot of my friends told me I had to watch it was Rocket Man. I was like disappointed in one thing only. It's a musical. It's not a movie like I thought it was going to get into. Have you ever seen the movie or no?
I've not seen it, so yeah, I can't comment on it. But
yeah, if you're looking for a movie about someone's life, it's basically a musical instead of a life story.
Really weird. Shockma is basically Like I was asking, you were there, Ricky. I was asking about a D&D movie, like
Yeah.
a good D&D movie. And it's
And
supposed to be about kids playing like a D&D setting, but really that's like on a scale of, 1 to 100 in terms of percentage. Like the fact that they're playing a D&D movie or playing D&D is like 2% of the film. And the rest of it is basically people coming out of a door, and then they see there's crazy baboon that wants to chase after them, and then they decide to run back in the door and close it, and the baboon just smacks his head against the door trying to break through. That's about 90% of the movie right there.
Oh,
over
brother.
over and over and over and over and over
thanks.
again. It's like I'm like, this is going nowhere. It's crazy. He mentions the twist at the end, which I thought was interesting, but I called it and I was like, okay, but it wasn't worth watching an hour and a half of a bamboo grabbing.
I just did a
CAPTCHA.
I just did a CAPTCHA sign-in that required me to select all the parking meters, and it kept saying I didn't have them all selected. It identified 2 mailboxes as parking meters.
Right.
Okay.
You gotta love them.
They do play D&D in Stranger Things.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Yep.
I was thinking Stranger Things may have been I don't know how often they played it though, because I remember watching a couple episodes.
A lot in season 1, and then after
season 1 was focused on it heavily.
Yeah. Then season 2 was focused on them being older. Or
they
something.
played D&D in ET as well.
And then the third one, I can't remember Stranger Things. It's been so long since I've watched it.
Ooh, now there's something I'd really like to have, Robbie.
What's that?
A skid steer.
Oh,
Yes.
I would love to have a skid steer. Yeah.
I would, yeah.
Well, I would love to have skid steer, Bobcat, but the problem is I don't have a building to store them all in.
Yeah.
So, I got to go get a pole barn for 40, 50 grand. And then I could actually go buy all that equipment to store
And then
it
you
in.
can go spend 50 grand on a skid steer.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's
When I was younger, I did security, and one of the places was a construction site. So after hours, I'm the only one there throughout the evening until the next morning. And I had the keys, and they had a Bobcat. I just take that thing out, just play around.
Wow. I still have $300 in Linden. Be that long to be able to log
A
in.
skid steer is probably the most versatile piece of equipment there is.
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you
it
just
would've been-
whatever you want to do with it, you buy an attachment that does it.
Yeah. It'd have been helpful to, freaking grade the driveway and pull down my barn and all kinds of crazy
It can be a
stuff.
forklift, a bulldozer, a brush cutter, a log grinder, whatever you want it to be. You just got to buy that attachment for it.
I actually want one of the Kubota tractors that has all the different attachments for it. But I'm on 7.5 acres, so
Yeah. Same with me. I mean, 8 acres is a lot of property to contend with. Luckily, we farm the back 3.5 out, so I got 4.5, 5 acres that I end up mowing ourselves. But yeah, if it was up to me, I would have that farmer do our whole damn plot so that I don't have to deal with any of it. But
I want you to grow corn right up to my front door.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just leave me a path to the driveway.
Either that or I would just gravel the whole damn lot and then I don't have to deal with any of it.
Hey, Robbie Mac, speaking of D&D, why don't you set up a D&D night? You and Chris Paddock get it going.
Joe Paddock.
I'll
run
it. I've heard a lot of people say they would run it. I prefer playing versus running it, but
I'll run.
I'm kind of at the point where, if you want to run it, I mean, I'm totally for it. But
I love running
Joe
D&D games.
Paddock
Well,
was
not just
doing
D&D,
one, and then Chris Warcocki was saying he would run one.
I never did.
It's just not ever panned out. So
The problem is
Joe ran
timing.
one for what, 2 weeks?
that's the biggest problem with freaking role-playing games is that nobody
Timing.
has time to play them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's finding time when everybody's available.
For almost 2 years, I ran a D&D game with my best friend online with my best friend and my cousins and a couple others, and we did it every Sunday for 4 or 5 hours on Sunday.
Nice.
I played
I
it
would
at
go
one point.
to a D&D event, but the problem is in my neck of the woods is that it's been so long since I played D&D, I don't remember any of the rules or how to even
You
set
don't
up
have
my
to
card
remember
cards.
the rules. It doesn't matter.
You don't know. No.
The DM will tell you what you need to know. That's it. Period.
I played
Well,
one at one
and-
point that was very slow developing, but they played on a forum, so the DM would post what's going on, and then all the players would reply to the post with what
I could not do that.
it
That
took
would drive
forever.
me insane.
But it was
it'd be nuts.
the cool thing about it was it was completely independent of what time of day you were available.
Right.
So
That'd be like playing back in the '80s with Trade
he
Wars.
would post something
shit.
going on,
Yep.
and then you had the rest of the day whenever you could check in to give your response to it, and then he'd do the rolls and tell you what happened.
I play every Friday night. There's a bunch of guys that I grew up with, and they used to group up and actually play live, and me and another guy were remote. And then COVID hit,
Whoa!
and everybody
Hey,
had
Jim.
everybody had to switch to remote. And we've been loving it ever since everybody went to remote. I think all of a sudden they realize, oh crap, I could stay at home and get hammered and play all night and not have to drive back home again after I'm done playing. So they kind of like it, and we're all just digging it. But yeah, pretty much every Friday night. Occasionally we end up like this last Friday, we got a hiccup and something happened with a couple of guys and they couldn't make it. So then we just canceled the game if like we have like 2 or 3 players that can't make it. I think we have 7 total. This is playing.
I really like running games, but one of my favorite games that I've ran for years, I call Culture Shock. And it literally is, I don't care what game system, make your character. And it doesn't matter if everybody can be a different game system even, because I'm going to throw you in a whole new world.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's up to the DM. We, for a while we were playing DCC, which is really up to the DM. It's a really awesome system that's like based on basic D&D with some twists. Like if you use magic, there are risks to it. Like if you fail at using the magic, then it can hurt you badly.
Kind of like how WotC did it for a mage.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it, but sure. I mean, I'll run with it. It's just really screwy. And then ultimately we decided to go back to just basic. We're just running just basic rules, D&D. And if there's a question on a rule, and like nobody can sit there and go break out the rule book and go, well, wait, this table
Steve
says
Jackson
Oh
games.
yes, Robotech.
I used to
That's what I
run
played
Riffs.
too.
Riffs was a
I've
big
never
one.
heard of Robot Tech, but it sounds fascinating.
Robotech is
Robotech.
freaking awesome.
That's like one of the
Not
original
Robot
enemies.
Tech, Robotech.
What's worse is, Ricky, you realize that game book you have in your hand is like worth $90 on eBay right now?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. It's fucking crazy. And
I don't remember the
I don't know
Because
where the hell.
this is before Rifts existed.
Well,
Yes, it
okay.
is.
Really interesting.
And that's actually the game that I played a raccoon in.
Yes, this predates Rifts considerably, and Rifts kind of replaced it.
Yep.
Because you could do your mutant animals and all that.
And actually,
Riffs.
there is a TMNT crossover book to bring that one into Riffs.
And well, because Palladium kind of did that with that. They basically they created Rifts so they could throw all of their RPG properties into one title.
Riffs
And that way they
became
could make people
their
buy-
version of GURPS.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this predates that considerably. And yes, this is a very valuable book because
I'm not gonna be
it's been out of print for a long time.
Uh-oh. What's up, Robbie? Bobby?
I'm not going to be able to hold these up in front of the camera. They're going to end up tipping over, and
it's just like resin prints.
and I'm not going to be able to get them closer. Well, here's the problem: is my camera is below a shelf, so there's no freaking lighting on it. But I will try to get these up here and get some light on them.
Well, you got plenty of lighting in the room, so
You know what? Let me take my freaking camera off the damn monitor and bring them down here. See if that
That might be
see if
easy. Take the camera to the
see if
things.
that works. I don't know if the cord's long enough.
Yeah, there we go. We can see them.
Yeah.
Now they'll just damn well focus.
So those are
nice.
original Dark Horse minis, and I also have all these as well, which are like
Mousers and push soldiers.
friggin' Scudder and Mousers and all that sort of junk. Yeah, so I have all 4 TMNT minis.
Well, you need to paint those up,
from
man.
back in the 80s. Yeah, well now I'm afraid to because they're actually worth some freaking money. They're not in the original bag anymore, but
well, and I mean to tell you the age, this goes back to when all the turtles just wore red.
yeah.
Yep.
So yeah,
Well,
it was
okay. When I started reading Turtles, they were all just wearing black because it was black and white comic by Eastman and Laird.
Yep.
I remember the black and white comic. Yeah.
I sold my issue 1, 2, and 3 for I think around $30 each on eBay 10 years ago. I'd hate to imagine what they're worth now. Yeah, amazing. They're just. That comic was so freaking cool when it came out. It was like nothing we had ever
I'm
experienced
assuming
before.
all of this is before my time.
that.
Yeah,
Probably.
a little bit. Yeah, probably 20 years before your time, Devin. Sorry. It wasn't like. Well, it's like Howard the Duck. I mean,
the last copyright date on this issue, this edition is 1988.
Yeah,
yeah, and that's. Yeah, and I think 80 or 81. Was
83 was the first. 83 is the first copyright.
My
Let's see,
favorite
what was
Robotech
Robotech?
tabletop book was not Invaders something Invaders, and I had it in my head. Now it's gone.
Robotech was
But it was
cool
the
as
one where you
hell.
had the bike. They had the
Yeah.
bike that you could.
Oh,
transform.
that's Mospeada.
Yes.
There you go. Mospeada, or is that Southern Cross? There you go.
I think it was before Southern Cross.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember
And I
Robotech
think they covered the
was
Cyclone in the
Macross, Mospeada, and Southern Cross. In that order.
I thought they covered
Right,
the
but
Cyclone
But
here.
in the game system,
Yeah, I don't know the game system that well.
I mean,
oh
that
no, sorry,
looks
it was
kind of
after
like the
Southern-
Cyclone, but that's not
I'm
the
thinking
Cyclone.
book 5, which was the Invid Invasion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was after Southern Cross.
Yeah.
They came out with the bikes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Ventrati
then-
Officer Pod.
Robotech actually moved me into MechWarrior.
Ah.
Yeah, we used to play tabletop BattleTech. Like,
Yep.
you know, the real BattleTech.
Not the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
that actually had role playing.
Yeah, I've still got all my BattleTech minis.
Nice.
Many of them, like, painted up. I used to paint and sell minis.
I moved
Battle-
into a motorhome, found PDF versions of all my role playing books, and I sold them. So I don't have anything anymore.
And I've got, like, for this, I've got all the companion books and stuff, too. Like Turtles in Space and Turtles Go Hollywood.
Oh
and-
man, Turtles in Space. Oh man.
Which was funny because
Yeah, hang on to
Like-
that shit.
Yeah, it's worth a lot.
until like the Nickelodeon version, they never brought in the Triceratons.
Yep.
Which get introduced in Turtles in Space.
Yeah.
Hey, Devin, if you're totally lost on, say, Robotech, if you got Amazon Prime, it's up on there. You can watch the show and figure out what the heck we're talking about.
Okay,
watch-
I'm
you can
not
watch
gonna
all
lie. I
three
haven't understood a
different-
single word y'all just said, and I'm trying to figure out how you put a space.
No,
on
it's. I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out early '80s, and then
82?
and then my and then I didn't even see them again.
I
like,
watched
years.
them as a child, but they were in full color.
Right.
Well, yeah,
And
but
they
that was like the late '90s or whatever.
Yeah, late 90s was when the first iteration of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out.
Yeah.
That was actually done by a Japanese company. I forget which one. I
and
think
they
it was
made them all. They made
The
them all really
comics-
kitty and
The
goofy.
comics
Right.
started in 84, and the
Yeah.
first animated series was in 87.
Was
Yeah.
it 87? Okay.
Okay,
But it
so
ran-
the
it ran
Mutant
for
would have
almost
been
10
around
years.
in
It ran for
early
9 years.
2000s.
Okay.
my
Early
grandson
2000s was
wanted
the
to be a
second
turtle,
animated
like,
series.
3 years ago, and they were
Right.
completely different turtles than
And yes,
what
I'm cheating.
I remember.
when they
the animated series that came out in the late 90s is late 90s before Devin was born or after Devin was born?
Probably when you were born.
24?
after, but you were an infant.
Yeah, you may not remember it.
I was born in 96.
So no matter what, it would have been the live action or the second animated.
Yeah.
The first live action movie was actually decent.
Yes, it was.
Yes. And then Vanilla Ice wrecked the second one.
Yes, he did.
Given the graphics and the time, yeah. I mean, I'll give him that.
The first live action movie was actually decent because Jim Henson's crew made the suits.
And it was dark.
And yes, it was dark as Turtles were originally intended to be.
Yeah, they were very dark.
Actually, it wasn't even as dark as they were intended.
No, it wasn't as dark as the comics. No.
At like 6, and it's scaring me.
But the funny thing is, the first movie.
My kind of thing is, I mean, the turtles should scare you. I mean, from what I remember reading from the very first comics, they should be like the Punisher. Like, it should scare you.
They were assassins.
Very dark and yeah. It wasn't a very comical, funny thing.
No, it wasn't kid friendly.
So you're telling me the turtles that I grew up with and loved, that loved pizza and are friendly superheroes.
Oh, they still loved pizza because they were teenagers.
Yeah, but Michelangelo liked pizza. I mean, that was kind of a thing, but
like in the comics,
it wasn't.
They were like beer drinking teenagers. They were
yeah.
They're vigilantes.
They would kill people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're not the happy, fun pizza turtles that I grew
No, not originally.
No.
That's what they turned them into so that they could market them to children.
Right.
Okay.
And market a toy line.
That's what Howard the Duck was when he first came out. In fact, Howard the Duck ran for several years, and then they canceled him because they said he was too rude for children. And then he came back like 3 years later, and then they made a movie about him, and the movie was like made him look like Donald the Duck, not Howard the Duck.
Oh, actually, come on! I love that movie.
A new Howard the Duck movie coming from.
No, you love Leah Thompson. That's what you loved about the movie. But Howard the Duck was canceled because he was like he would be laying in bed with a woman smoking a cigar as if they had just had sex, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you can't show a duck having sex with a woman." So yeah, we got to cancel his ass.
What I was about to tell you guys, Howard the Duck is coming back. According to Marvel, they're working on bringing him back.
He made one of those credit roll scenes.
He's been in a lot of cameos.
Actually, he's been in more than one credit roll.
Avengers and what the hell is it?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy thing. Yeah,
that was funny.
Yeah, I've seen them.
And I do know Ryan Reynolds is trying to bring it out.
Oh, that would be funny to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my thing. With today's PC climate, without getting too political, with today's PC climate, you can't bring Howard the Duck back. I'm sorry, there's no freaking way you can do it.
If we can have Deadpool, we can do Howard the Duck.
You just gotta make it rated R.
Give it a rated R.
Yeah.
Unless you're gonna show a duck having sex with a woman, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Be rated R, but you can do it.
They might use black screen. In other words, just have the shadows showing on the screen, not the actual.
Which is what they did in the movie, the original.
Yeah.
He's smoking a cigar. He's freaking running for president. He's having sex with chicks. I don't see it, man. I just can't see it.
They're tying it into the Guardians of the Galaxy, from what I heard.
That's my avatar that I always use.
They made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kid friendly because they could see the opportunity to make bazillions of dollars.
Right.
Actually, and if it wasn't for Pizza Hut, we would have never had the animated series to begin with.
Probably.
Oh, really? Was that like the
Pizza Hut sponsored it heavily?
The inlet for them to make it mainstream or something?
And if you watch there's a documentary on I think it's on Netflix. There's a documentary about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and how it all started.
I have to hand it to the people at Pizza Hut.
The original artist and creator hated the animated series because they removed him from it.
But yeah, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, who created the Turtles, they started off literally just in a house together, hand drawing their comics.
They were all
Yep.
just black and white comics, and they were
And
freaking
then-
awesomely drawn and awesome.
Right. So one of them would do the pencil, and then the other one would ink it, and then they would take it and get it printed,
Yeah.
and then they were selling them out of that little house.
Even the covers were only one color. They'd be like green and
Right.
white, and red
they
and
were-
white, and blue
and they
and
were
white.
selling.
Yeah.
I think the first time they printed only like 100 or 200, something like that, and they sold out of them in like less than a day, and they had to go back and print more, and it took off like wildfire for them.
It was
And
like
it didn't take long for it because they were self-publishing at the beginning.
yeah,
They didn't
it
even
was
have
like
a publisher.
like South Park creators, where we just started homegrown effort or whatever, and then it just ballooned from there.
And then which one was it that sold out and it pissed the other one off? I always forget.
I don't know. I imagine I haven't followed it since I was a kid.
I always forget which one's which.
After like issue 10, I couldn't tell you whether they're still. I would fully imagine that Eastman and Laird are no longer involved in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles anymore.
Neither one of them are anymore.
Right.
But they made the agreement back when the whole thing started, when they got approached to do an animated series and a toy line and all that. They like made an agreement with each other that neither one would sell without the other one agreeing.
Yep.
And then,
They hit pay dirt.
One of them decided to sell out.
Yeah.
Wow.
And in the process, the way that he sold out screwed the other one out of millions, like hundreds of millions.
Wow. That's not surprising at all.
And
yeah,
so,
and Pizza Hut and Fox.
and the whole reason the name Mirage Studios came up is because they created Mirage Studios because literally their studio was just a mirage. It was two guys in an old house. They didn't have a studio.
It was a pretty. When you think about it, with the way that comics were going at the time, there were no other comics that were like that, where it was just like, oh, turtles turn into mutants and become ninjas. Like nobody had a storyline like that. And you look at it and you laugh and think it's comical, but then when you read the comic and you saw it, you were like, you were drawn into it. It was like, holy crap, this is real. Like it could happen. No, yeah. not like it could, but I mean, like so nobody was telling a story like that. Yeah,
in the comic books, Casey is on drugs. In the TV and
really
in the movies, there's no drugs.
Right.
Yeah. But he's just crazy anyway, so that makes proper sense.
It was really freaking art. It was awesome freaking art. I mean, I would love to have any of them stills from that damn comic hanging 4 foot on my wall. I mean, they were just amazingly drawn, and it was all black and white, which is kudos to the artist for doing that, because
there was a beauty to the almost crudeness to it,
right?
Yep. Like Faust.
Yeah, I mean, it just, and then like, shoot, what was it? 6-7 years later, all of a sudden everything started going digital comics, and you could have full fading and all kinds of junk in it and stuff. So yeah, it was. Everybody started gravitating towards more realistic shading and crap in color, full color art.
Their art and their use of anatomy and the shapes of the faces and things. It's not.
Well, I
think we lost Devin again. Yep. Oh well.
But Devin's going to be popping in and out. I think it's just because
there was a beauty to the crudeness of it all.
Yeah.
The artist that did the cover art for the Robotech book, he's also done some cover art for some of the Turtles expansion books. Kevin Long, dude is amazing.
Yeah, my only problem is I want Steve Jackson to become a nobody again. He really pissed me off.
Oh, Steve Jackson! Wow, you're gonna bring Steve Jackson out in all this.
Well, he's who owns Palladium.
Does he really own Palladium?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Well, maybe not Jackson. Well, hang on. Maybe I'm. It should be on that book there for
Yeah, probably
Steve Jackson
somewhere.
Games or something like that.
Steve Jackson Games, yeah. I've got Car Wars and GURP and all kinds of stuff that he's played. Illuminati and all kinds of games that he's created.
Copyright Kevin Ciandieta.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, Kevin, not Steve Jackson. My apologies, Kevin.
Okay, Palladium did.
Steve Jackson just released.
Yeah,
Steve Jackson Games
Palladium did
released a book called Primal Order. In that book was conversion charts, so you can convert any character from almost any game system at that time into a different game system.
Interesting.
That was how I ran my game. Is I used that book as my way of, oh, you're a Rifts character and you're going to D&D. That's how I could do the conversion.
Oh wow!
And the guy who owns Palladium sued Primal Order and had them forced to be pulled off the shelf.
They even have to make mention in the beginning of this book that superhero is a registered trademark held jointly by DC Comics Inc. and Marvel Comics Group.
Wow.
Yep.
I didn't know that the word superhero is a joint registered trademark to DC and Marvel. So technically nobody else can have a superhero.
Steve Jackson.
Yeah. Well, that's all good into legal territory for sure, but
so just because they use the word superhero in this book, they had to get permission from DC and Marvel.
Hey, Lightspeed.
Over my vault.
But yeah, this RPG is actually really amazing, and the Palladium system is really quick to get you off the ground and going. It doesn't take long to roll up a character.
Some of the newer revisions are a nightmare. And
okay, well maybe so. These are the ones I played.
For that.
This was the.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that was the cover of the first issue of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was a lot darker than what you see in the cartoons and all that sort of stuff. So
they were murderous assassins.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't comical.
Okay.
It was not meant for children.
Right.
And wow, we have definitely geeked out.
Yeah, but somebody saw the potential that if you modified it for children, you could make $1 bajillion, and they were right.
That's a fail.
Went to Playmates for the toys, and I forget who the animation studio was for the animated series.
And
I don't remember.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if my account still works.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you know the theme music for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the animated series, was composed by Chuck Lorre?
Wow.
That's a big name.
Composed by Chuck Lorre and Dennis C. Brown. And, everybody knows who Chuck Lorre is now.
Yep.
He's responsible for The Big Bang Theory and 2.5 Men and name successful sitcom after successful sitcom.
And this was after Howard the Duck was having sex with women in bed, and they were like, "Oh yeah,
Viacom." Viacom was who was behind
do this anymore.
Animated series.
Sorry, I'm doing a password recovery for my roll.
No, it's all good. I don't want to
You guys
share
now
a bunch
got
of
me.
screens.
I'm itching for gaming now.
But it's like, all you know is he says "good night, toots" at the end of it, and it's like, yeah, that ain't allowed anymore. That's that line right there, "good night, toots." That's not happening. Nobody's making a freaking movie about Howard the Duck right now. That's not gonna happen. Sorry.
Well, in this day and age, when the next Looney Tunes that's coming out, Elmer Fudd won't have guns anymore.
Well, yeah, instead he's got a scythe that he's a knife and shit that he's swatting it, because that's
Elmer Fudd and
that's way less violent.
Now we're getting political.
Because I take issue with that with the gun.
I knew that'd fire you up.
No, we've been told, oh, just use a shotgun. Just use a shotgun.
Yep.
All this time, and now you can't use a shotgun anymore. You have to use a scythe, apparently. So that's kind of an issue.
I point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. I just find it odd.
Oh, I don't anymore.
And of course,
yeah.
Shredder in the original animated series was voiced by James Avery.
Yep.
Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Did he die?
Oh, really?
Yes, he's been gone for a few years now.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's what I couldn't.
2013.
You said it. I was like, wait a minute, is he dead?
Yeah, he's been dead since 2013.
Yeah.
I can't believe freaking Grant died.
I know.
I'm
We
brought
keep
back to
getting back
that,
on
and
that.
I'm like, yeah. I had no idea. I didn't see it on Facebook or nothing.
Mhm.
Well, I wasn't. I was out
trending
running
on
errands
Twitter,
today, but
last night or this
So
morning.
if anybody's serious about gaming, I still have a Roll20 account.
oh, love it. Yeah. Yeah, I got a Roll20 account. I end up doing all kinds of maps and stuff. In fact, if you want help doing maps, I'll do them for you. I'll get in on a session with you and actually show you some of the maps I've done.
And one of my cousins responded to my post a year ago saying that he'd be down to continue.
Yeah.
So just got to figure out a when. And we could even stream it.
Yeah, you can totally stream it. We end up, our group just has Discord, and then he just puts a webcam down on a table because we talked about doing Roll20 and all kinds of fancy stuff, and we're like, you know what? We're all old school gamers. We're used to using graph paper and everything else. What do we really freaking need all this crap for? So, yeah, no point in doing any of that fancy stuff. But it is freaking cool when if somebody's got OBS and Roll20 and can frame everybody in and all that sort of stuff and make it more entertaining for everyone else to watch. For sure.
Well, and see what I could do is I actually have two Roll20 accounts. One that is just a player, and I could throw that in and share the game board from the player point of view.
Right.
And then
that's the
have
tough
that
part
just as a
about
window in
Roll20.
StreamYard, and then we can use StreamYard for it.
Yeah, because the DM point of view, you don't want to reveal all your
exactly.
Because there's so much crap I have off scene and notes and everything else that you can end up dropping in as the players encounter it, that you don't want it showing up on stream if you're hosting it.
Wow. 232 hours. That's how long I used Roll20.
Yeah, Ron, I agree with you that Series 1 of Robotech was the best, but Series 3 was good too.
Series 3 was okay, but what I liked
Series
about
2 was garbage.
Series 2 was yeah, that's what
Series 2 was awesome.
And somehow 2 is the most popular in the anime scene.
Really? Because Macross seems to be the most popular from what I can tell, because they're still doing Macross series even up to now.
You get more of the Veritex from Series 1 than any of the other merchandise.
Like if
Series 3 had the Cyclone Cycles, which were awesome.
Yeah, the cycles were interesting. Yeah.
That was Invid Invasion.
How much D&D did you play back in the day there, Tom Lama?
What, D&D?
Yeah.
Oh, I used to play a buttload of it when I was in high school and college.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I started playing it when the very first book came out, and it was like paper bound and about that big.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, my brother, I believe, still has the original D&D books we got when we were in high school.
Nice.
And you got like the Dungeon Master book and the Player book, and then there was one other one, and they were like paper bound. They were $19.
They're probably like
the Monster Handbook or whatever.
Pink box version or whatever.
The last set he got when I kind of faded out and stopped playing it, he had this
drive.
hard case monster like Bible-sized thing at that point.
Oh yeah. That's getting nuts. So that's where you got into advanced. But basic was
we used
the
to do
Xbox version was like that.
I own that one.
Yeah, no,
actually
that looks like the original.
And then you got the expert versions. Yeah, those were the only two books you got.
Yep.
Yeah.
The only thing before that was a white box version, which was like that's some real high dollar shit if you got a white box version of it, because that was chainmail, basically.
Yeah, it was bizarre back then.
Really cool story how that came about too.
What?
How D&D came about, how they actually developed that. It was originally brought about from guys doing like wargaming, like I don't know how you describe it. Like, they would set up like Civil War reenactment, right? I'm using that as an example. You could do, the some war in Europe or something, or freaking Napoleon going against some other freaking army or something like that. They were always they were always historical, and then one day somebody said, well, what if we made it fantasy? Like, what if it was just completely made up instead of doing historical battles? And that's how D&D actually ended up coming about.
Yeah. I used to be an SCA member.
I got to text him.
More complicated than that, but that's the premise of it for people who don't play D&D or haven't
and
played
D&D.
D&D.
And then it became devil worshipping.
Yes, it did. Yeah, totally. It was horrible. It was worse. It was worse than punk rock music, really.
And I relate that just the same as people blaming violence on Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just as dumb.
Yep, I agree with it 100%, Tanner, because I see people saying that crap, and I'm just like, back in the day, yeah.
You're blaming a video game with a rated M rating on a child doing something violent. If that child is playing a rated M game, that's called bad parenting.
We didn't even have ratings back then, but we were told if you listen to Ozzy Osbourne, and you played it backwards, he'd bite the bad stuff.
Come along. What was it in the 90s when the ESRB was created?
Yeah. Yep. Crazy stupid. Yeah, and when D&D came out, we were all told, "Oh yeah, you're gonna go to hell." There's all kinds of crazy ass shit. You're gonna be.
The publication date was 1974.
Dude, there was
it was. Yeah,
that we used to get all our D&D crap from, and it was like it was kind of an RC, but even RC was kind of new then. It was like RC and D&D. It was a little bit of everything, and oh my god, they got like this religious group that used to come to them on Saturdays and Sundays and like picket outside the place because they were anti-religious, selling D&D books. I'm not kidding you. They were like,
there you go.
I think you need to zoom in.
I don't have any that old. The ones we had at least had color.
Rules for fantastic medieval war games campaigns playable with paper and pencil and miniature figures.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you want to get like into a discussion about like
price $10,
Eastman and Laird, that was Gygax, and who the hell was the other damn guy?
Arneson,
yeah. Where Arneson came up with a bunch of the freaking rules, and Gygax was the marketing guy.
But I've got a jet.
All right, see you, Tanner.
Later.
So yeah, that was a rough deal between.
Oh shoot, I didn't know it was that late. I gotta get going, guys. Oh. Sorry, I gotta cook dinner.
All right.
That's actually what I'm doing right now. I got the timer going.
Canadian time, Ron. It's only 6:30 Canadian time. Like American time, it's only like 2:30 in the afternoon.
Oh God, I forgot about Melee Wizards.
You're the same time zone as I am.
Okay.
Later, everyone.
See you, Ron.
Do you ever do the Melee and Wizards, Rob? It was like the competing game.
Melee and Wizards. What do you mean?
It was a game. It was a Dungeons and Dragons called Melee.
Oh, an alternate? No, I never played
it. An alternate. It's almost the same thing. God, I forgot all about that. I'm texting with my brother. He's got all that old stuff.
If you want to check something out,
1978 books.
you guys aren't going to be into it, but Zolan, you might be. If you haven't seen it yet, check out on I think Amazon Prime. You can it's like $3 to download a documentary on Blackmore.
Yep.
Just look up Blackmore, and it'll bring out the Dave Armisen story and how the whole thing came about. It's pretty interesting, and how everybody was doing everybody was doing these skirmishes that were, historical skirmishes and creating rules and all kinds of crazy stuff. And then all of a sudden one day Armisen decided, well, let me put, like, people started getting into, they started expanding and going, well, you can go talk and get information from the town. Like, if you're getting ready to do a skirmish, like, spies could go into town and get information about what the other party was doing and everything else. And that expanded to, oh, well, wait, let's separate the players from the DM, and you come in and talk to me in a separate room so that nobody else knows what's going on, and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden Armisen was like, everybody showed up to his game, and they were storming a castle like a normal, skirmish would happen. And all of it said, oh, the castle opens. Now you can go down into a dungeon and actually go down the stairs. And half of his players left, and they're like, screw this. This isn't accurate at all. It isn't, this is just a total fantasy, blah, blah, blah. And the other half stayed. And that Blackmore campaign continued every year. It's really freaking awesome to watch. Yeah. And then ultimately, doing that, Armisen got in cahoots with Gygax, and then that created D&D. Yeah. But that was like 69 or 70 is when he did Blackmore, and then like 74 is when D&D was actually published.
Yeah,
I actually did a book report of sorts on the origins of Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, so you know a lot of that then. Yeah. Perfect.
In fact, my name Zolan was actually my very first D&D character in 1986.
Nice.
86. God, that's when I stopped playing.
It's cool when I'm sitting there watching that documentary, and one guy's he's like, yeah, I'm credited with being the first wizard in all of D&D. Like, he created the wizard class, because at that point, like, nobody had classes. Like, they didn't figure that crap out. They were just like, whatever you want to do. The D&D or the Dungeon Master made all that crap up and was like, okay, you can do this, you can do that, and that's what I love about DCC is that it's just so much is left up to the actual Dungeon Master to decide all that. And it takes all the freaking rules out of it. All the people that want to argue, well, here's what it says on the table and blah. Because hell, as you went on to 3.5, and it just got crazy. You just had to start buying all kinds of books at $60 a pop in order to figure out what you could do, and then you could argue with the Dungeon Master about it and everything, and just to play a freaking game. No, you don't need to do that.
Now, I have almost every book that I used to have in PDF format right now.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of PDF, but I don't have any of the originals.
If I was to ever get back to actually sitting at a real table, though, and playing games, I'd want that paper book again. Because the one thing I loved about the paper book is if you had anybody who was a rules lawyer,
this thing's like 5.
You could shut them down if all you had was paper, because it'd take them forever to find said rule.
What do you got there, Tom?
This is a real pewter D&D dragon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
At the time, my high school girlfriend bought this for me because I was playing D&D so much with my brothers and stuff.
Nice.
So she bought this for my birthday. This thing was like $80.
Wow, that's crazy. Pewter for back then. Yeah.
It's all pewter.
Yep. That's one of the main reasons I got into resin printing is because I like doing D&D miniatures.
I used to
like doing the figures and all that.
No, I actually got into it because I got a modem for my C64 and found a bulletin board in Seattle when I lived in Alaska that had a online sort of game. You'd log in you'd read what the DM said, you'd say what your actions were, and then you'd log out.
Here you go. Show my screen here in a second. You'll get a kick out of this. This is my brother's, who's a couple years older than me and really got into it. This is all his books. If you look right here, these are all the 1970s originals. Right here. These are all the like story books that came on after it. These are the 70s hardcovers. That one right there.
That's a player's handbook.
He's got all three of them. He's got the Dungeon Master players, and then
that painting actually on the player's handbook almost got thrown away in the trash, and somebody actually rescued it from the trash. Yeah. That's a pretty freaking awesome story too. There's another documentary on the art of D&D.
Yep.
That is definitely worth watching.
He still does it. He does it every Sunday at the church.
He also has a Mountain Dew, which makes him a true gamer.
Well, he drinks Mountain Dew all the time. He's a Mountain Dew fanatic. He quit drinking altogether and started drinking Mountain Dew. So one addiction to another.
Yeah, I guess.
Mountain Dew's nasty. People don't really. You can actually get addicted to Mountain Dew and sugary sodas.
Caffeine's just too high. I don't drink it because of the caffeine.
Until I turned about 36 or so, something in Mountain Dew would give me the Taco Bell effect, even after just having one swallow.
Yeah, Mountain Dew's got some nasty crap in it.
Now, Dr. Pepper, I was drinking 2 or 3 2-liter bottles a day.
I drank a bunch of it when I was younger, but man, as I got older, the caffeine was just way too much. I can't take that much caffeine anymore.
Yeah, caffeine doesn't really touch me.
Gets me all jittery.
Yeah, I drink too much soda, but even now, I started buying these little cans because it makes me drink less. Even though they're like twice as expensive, I don't care. Because I just plain drink less.
I don't know. I went for a period where I would be fine all during the week, and then on the weekends I would get really bad headaches. And it took me a year to figure out that what it was is I was drinking like 3 or 4 cups of coffee during the day during the week, and on the weekends I wasn't drinking any caffeine. It took me a long freaking time to figure that out. I eventually ended up watching some documentary on somebody trying to kick the caffeine habit, and they got immediate headaches. Once I realized that, then now every weekend I drink 1 cup of coffee no matter what, just to start the day so that it will not give me a headache. And that's when I realized the Mountain Dew had so much freaking caffeine in it. So
I need to get out of here. Unfortunately, guys, I need to help my wife with the dogs. We're hitting feeding hour.
Hey, no worries. I think we're getting ready for supper here in about 5 minutes. So.
Yep. And we're just over 2 hours. So I'll talk to you guys later, and we'll see if anybody else picks up the stream.
All right. See you, gang.
Later.